All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Green White Checker TV. Tonight we have the Area 51 Racing League Super Speedway, Area 51 87 Cup Series tonight here at Michigan. Scheduled for 100 laps this evening. Drivers making their qualifying laps at the moment. And so you see here we got pulled up our point standings going into this race. Again, right now we've had 5 of the 12 races run. This is race number 6, so this will get us to that halfway point. Right now our points leader is that number 48 of James Ledford, leading Eric Schaus by 13 points. And he's got an 11-point gap over the third place driver of Dwight Plush. And then Chad Wilkes has jumped up into that 4th position here. So that's even including missing a race. So when that 17 car has been on track, he has been one to watch. So we'll see if he's able to work his way back up in the points as well. And then rounding out the top 5 is that number 199 of Joshua Sichterman. So you see right there, you have the top 5 within 35 points, top 6 within 39 with Michael Spell there. And a little bit of a gap there behind him to Todd Merkel, Kenny Kolakowski, Ted Decker Jr., and Robbie Richards for rounding out our top 10. So you can see a few drivers have at least missed one race so far this season, so that's definitely hurt them a little bit. But you can see though, James Ledford, Eric Schaus, so say they've had top 10s in all of their starts, with 4 top 5s for James and 3 top 5s for Eric, and so that's why those two are at the top of the field right now. And let's say I think those 2 wins for James definitely goes a long way, of course, as well. So again, letting these drivers put their qualifying laps in. We'll see what kind of numbers they're able to pull off here. And then once they start taking the grid, we'll go ahead and go through our starting order and get things underway here in just a moment. Alright, let's pull up our starting grid for tonight's race. On the pole position is going to be that number 14 of Kenny Kolakowski. So you can see a couple tenths actually quicker than James Ledford, so a really stout lap for that number 14 machine. In third, you've got Jim Brooks. 4th is Chad Wilkes. And rounding out the top 5 is Todd Merkel. Then 6th, you have Robbie Richards. 7th is Quabi Brooks. 8th is Eric Schaus. And then you see the remainder of the field here. 9th, you got Josh Sichterman. 10th, Dwight Plush. 11th, Michael Spell. 12th, John Brill. 13th, Mike Morrison. And 14th, Mark Brown. So wait for the drivers here to go ahead and start gridding up, and let's say it gives them a minute or so to get everything pulled up. You see the top 3 qualifiers here, though. Let's say we got all Chevrolet Monte Carlos on the front 3 spots. I believe actually the front 4 spots are going to be all Chevrolets, and then you've got that number 81 and 5th of Todd Merkel going to try to break things up a little bit in that number 81 machine there. All right, I hope everyone's having a wonderful evening here. Say we are halfway through the week, so hopefully everybody's doing well. Say they are just starting to roll off the grid now. So say again, Kenny Kolakowski is going to be the leader here, leading them out of the pits. And then let's say we'll get things going again. Scheduled 100 laps tonight here at Michigan. Say it's going to be definitely a handful for these drivers. I say nice and wide track, but again, you're going to probably need every inch of it with these cars. So we'll see again also what the strategy is going to, kind of how it's going to unfold, what drivers are going to need to do to help them out on the long run here, especially. Say we got a bit of a shorter field here, so I think that's definitely going to help some of these guys out for sure. It looks like we've got 13 drivers. Looks like Mark Brown in 68. Not in the server at the moment. We'll see if he jumps in a little bit late. We've had a few drivers have some hiccups with some connection issues before, so we'll have to wait and see there. It's good to see you on here, Rachel. Hopefully you're having a wonderful evening as well. As we mentioned, actually something, as I just noticed, Eric Schaus there jumps into the pits here, so I'm not sure what's going on with him, but say hopefully whatever it is, he can get that fixed here quickly. And so I'll have to start from the pits if all goes well, but yeah, so he's going to have a little bit of some work to do right off the bat here. But we saw it work last night in the Indy Series with that number 83 car, Jack Walls, getting the win after starting in the pits, so you never know. Alright, see the pace car ducking off. It's going to put it into the hands of that number 14 and the 48. Wait for that green flag to fly, and we are underway here. Again, they're going to have to get through the gears. That's going to be the first thing to do. Make sure they get through those gears cleanly and as quickly as possible. But you can see, though, 14, Kenny Kolakowski gets a good initial start. He's going to clear that 40 of James Ledford. James is going to drop right in behind him here entering turn number 1. See, running way up top, there's that 12 of Robbie Richards. So he's going to get that momentum, actually. It's going to really work for that 12 car. He's going to grab that spot from Jim Brooks. So it looks like Robbie's going to go from 6th to 4th on this initial start. And it looks like he's trying to go for more here. So it looks like 72 Eric Schaus is now heading out on track. It's going to be about 3/4 or so of a lap down, maybe a little less, but again, he's just going to have to kind of ride right now, showing about 30 seconds out of the lead. So, again, he's going to have his work cut out to get back on contention here, but I'm sure he's going to be hoping for a yellow. So right now that 14 still leading the way. However, here comes that numbers 48, though. James Ledford gets a really good run there out of 2. He's going to get right to the back of that 14 car. He's going to look a little low. But looks like he may have entered too shallow, because you see that 14 has a pretty nice arc there entering 3. But as I say that, it actually washes up a bit. He's going to get close to the wall, able to keep it off of it. That's going to open the door for that 48 car here to try to take a look here entering the tri-oval. Still able to, Kenny Kolakowski able to lead that lap, but say you got that 48 though to his inside now, going for the lead. Looks like he's going to complete the pass, so move that 48 into lead. Again, that's our points leader in this series, so that 48, James Ledford, doing exactly what he needs to do right now. Wants to be up front, lead laps, control the race if he can. And saying he's definitely starting that on the right foot here so far. Right now, looks like about the top 7 are all right together there. Saying you have a little bit of a gap following back to 8th place Dwight Plesh, but say also Dwight, though, he's moved a few spots from the start of this race. So right now, though, leading the way, as we mentioned, James Ledford. In 2nd place is that pole sitter Kenny Kolakowski, not too far behind him. And then in 3rd is that number 12 Robbie Richards in that Roy Wheeler Designs car. Say Robbie started 6th all the way up to 3rd already, so a really good start for him, as we've already mentioned. Behind Robbie is that 17 of Chad Wilkes. He's definitely going to be one to keep an eye on. We've seen him win the races he's been in. He's done very well. Right behind him, that 81 of Todd Merkel. Todd started 5th, currently running 5th, so he's kind of holding serve here. And then right behind them is that 76 of Jim Brooks. So he dropped a few spots from his starting position, but say still in this lead pack right now. See right behind him in that number 53 machine, we'll say kind of a newcomer to the league. That's the 53 of Quabi Brooks. So there is some relation. Say actually my brother, and also so obviously the son of the 76 of Jim Brooks as well. So got a full family affair going on here. So he's kind of trying to get his feet wet in these 87 cars. And say I was talking to him during practice, and he was definitely having fun wheeling them. So I'll be curious to see how he's able to do tonight in these cars. You see, it gets a little tight off 4, able to keep it straight though. Right there in 8th, you got that 44 of Dwight Plush. Dwight also up there in the points, and say right now just kind of, I think, just taking it easy and keeping himself out of trouble here early on. I think we'll see him make a charge as the run progresses. Then right behind him, Mike Morrison, that really nice looking copper top paint scheme, that Duracell car, and that number 66. So good looking scheme for Mike here. So he's going to try to have a good run with that car as well. Rounds out the top 10 right now is so it shows number 3. It's actually the number 88 though of Michael Spell. They have some weird hiccups with the paint scheme sometimes, but we'll work on that in the future. But yeah, so right now Michael is the last car, or is in the top 10 here. And then right behind him, you've got that fight for 11th here with John Brill in that number 90 machine, the Texas Pete Sauce car. And then rounding out the lead lap up front, at least, is that 199 of Josh Sichterman. I think Josh is just kind of on cruise control. See, it looks like maybe a little bit of a left front crinkle on the fender. I'm not sure that's part of the paint scheme now. I think he's got a little bit of a hood crinkle there on that left front. Shouldn't be affecting him too much. I think he'll be fine. But right now, Josh showing in the 12th position. And we mentioned Eric Schaus having to start from the pits here. Still on the lead lap, about 41 seconds off the lead. But say lap time wise though, say he's not doing too bad here. He's running a little slower than the leaders, but say he's still got plenty of time though. Back up front though, James Ledford still leading the way. He's got about a 0.3 of a second lead over that 14 car pole sitter of Kenny Kolakowski. And these two have actually been able to stretch it out here. They've got about a 1.5 second lead over Robbie Richards in 3rd. So yeah, while we're going through the field there, these two have definitely started stretching it out right off the bat. And saying so Robbie's gonna have to see what he can do to try to close the gap on these guys. But right now, though, the last time around, they were about 0.3 of a second quicker than that number 12. However, we mentioned Dwight. He was the fastest car on track that last time by just a little bit quicker than the leaders there, but also running the 42.2s as were the leaders. So good laps here by that 44 Dwight Plush. Might be just saving those tires a little bit, really try to take advantage of them as this run goes on. So it looks like the 81 of Todd Merkles, he's taking the spot away from that 17 of Chad Wilkes. And I wonder if Chad may be playing possum a little bit here, trying to save these tires and then really go after it on the long run as these tires start wearing out. We'll have to wait and see there. And that might be some of what's going on too, is these guys might just be being a little too aggressive here early on, possibly putting on these fast laps. And so maybe that's where we're going to see that 17. We'll see if he maybe makes a charge here as the run progresses. But got a really good fight here for that 5th position though, with that 17, the 76, and the 53 here. See the 76 Jim Brooks gets right to the back of that 17 machine. He's going to see if he can find a way to get around him here as they go through the trial oval. You see a 76 car right on the back bumper, trying to find a way to get around him here. You also see Dwight Plush starting to creep in the background as well, join this little party here. And again, actually last time around, Dwight Plush fastest car on track, so we're going to keep an eye on that 44 as well. He's definitely getting some pretty good pace here, and looks like leaders were able to get around that 72 of Eric Schaus, so that will put him a lap down. However, right now is the only car 1 lap down, so again, should a yellow come out, as long as he's not involved, he'll be able to get that lap back. Looks like Chad's able to stretch it just a little bit off of Jim now, so he's got a little bit of breathing space behind him. So you can see these guys all running just a couple car lengths between each other. It looks like everybody's running pretty even here this time around. Actually, Chad though in that 17 machine was the fastest car on track, again by about 0.2 over the leader. So maybe we're seeing that tire savings coming into play here, and maybe trying to start kind of pushing the envelope a little bit more. So keeping on the gaps up front, so it's about still 3/4 of a second. This is pretty much the closest battle on track. That 76 of Jim Brooks trying to work over the 17 of Chad Wilkes that time around. This time actually Josh Sichterman in that 199 car, he's now up into that top 10. He is the quickest car on track, so now he's going to try to see if he can kind of chase this pack down a little bit as well. But right now, though, still a really good fight here for that top 5 with Jim Brooks and Chad Wilkes here as they enter turn number 3. I just saw it in the mirror, though. Here comes that 44 of Dwight Plush. It looks like he's gotten around that 53 of Quabi Brooks. So now he's worked up into that 7th position. So now next on his list is going to be that 76 and the 17 car. Again, Dwight having a really good start to the race so far. It seems like he's really taken a liking to these things. He's done really well running these cars, and so he's definitely starting to close that gap on these cars in front. Again, started 10th, currently running 7th, and has still got plenty of room to kind of keep gaining spots. And again, that last time around, that 199, Josh Sichterman, again, quickest car on the track. As you see, Dwight here, though, taking a peek inside that 76, coming off of 4. We'll see if he's able to keep the momentum down. I think that top line's going to keep that momentum. And sure enough, yeah, he's going to have to fall back in line here. You can see the different lines these guys are running. The 76 takes a big arc there, entering 1. Brings it all the way down to the bottom. BC, though, Dwight gets a good exit here off of 2. I'm sorry, entering 3. He's going to have the momentum here and have the position here. I think, yeah, sure enough, he's going to roll right on by that 76 to Jim Brooks and move now Dwight up into 6th. So again, that 44 machine doing a really good job here early on in this race. Another car just made some moves here is Josh Sichterman in that 189. He's just gotten around the 66 of Mike Morrison. That moves Josh up into 9th. And say it's just about a second there off of that 53. So he's got a little bit of ground to make up to get there. But I think he's definitely going to be able to get there. And he also looks like the 53 and the 76 are battling now for that 7th position. So I'll say them running side by side here is definitely going to help that 199 car kind of close the gap here as well. It looks like he makes pretty quick work of that 76. That moves Quabi up into 7th, move Jim back into 8th. Again, right now we are on lap number 16 of 100. So again, still a long ways to go here, not even quarter distance. Lap times have definitely fallen off by about a full second or so over the fast laps. And James Ledford starting to get caught a little bit by Kenny Kolakowski right now, about a 0.2 of a second lead. You see Eric Schaus there, and still lap down, but definitely holding up tight with the leaders here. Lap times are pretty competitive as well, so that's looking good for him. I'm looking at some of these other drivers a little further back, trying to see who's kind of where and making some moves. Looks like, I think Dwight might be working. Yeah, he's starting to close up on that 17 of Chad Wilkes, who's also trying to work now on Todd Merkel in that number 81 machine. And I think I may have just saw Robbie Richards. Yeah, it looks like Robbie must have had a moment there. He just dropped 4 spots that last time around there. So now he's showing in the 7th position. Now actually able to get back into that 6th spot in that number 12. So that's going to be a benefit, though, for Todd Merkel, Chad Wilkes, Dwight Plush. That gives them all one more spot. And you see Jim Brooks actually gets back around the 53 as well. And then here comes that 189 Josh Sichterman with a big head of steam coming down too, trying to figure out where to try to make this run. And right now looks like 53 is going to run the top. Josh is going to run the middle here. Steve's able to get that exit. Looks like he's going to get a pretty strong run here off of 4. Right to that left rear quarter panel of that 53 car. And he's got the draft for good measure as well. So I think we're going to see Josh Sichterman probably get around that 53 here as they enter turn number 1. And sure enough, he does. So move Josh up into the 8th position now. So as you can see, looks like that 81 here has got his hands full now with Dwight Plush. Dwight now up into fighting for, I should say, the 4th position here. Chad Wilkes able to get around for 3rd as these two go side by side in turns 3 and 4. We'll see if Dwight's able to get that momentum. You see he's kind of arcing it down on the exit. Todd just has enough right now, but we'll see how that momentum goes here down the front stretch. And right now that 44 definitely has it nose right to him. They're pretty much door to door here as they enter turn number 1. We'll see if Dwight's able to send it in a little bit deeper, maybe see if he can clear that 81. Oh, still at 44 get a little loose. You can see he had to actually lift a little bit. Saw that little puff of flame come out the exhaust. It's kind of the telltale that he had to breathe it there on exit. And that was just enough for Todd Merkel to hang on to that 4th position. Dwight Plesh will still hang on into 5th. And you see Robbie Richards, though, he's kind of working his way back up there. He's right back in the mix of this one. Right now, those top 2 are still holding pretty steady, about that 0.2 of a second lead. With the 48 James Ledford over the 14 of Kenny Kolakowski. But as I say that, though, Kenny is pretty much there now. You see he's running just a different groove here, trying to see if he can find some way to make something happen. And then also, though, Josh Sicherman now up into the 7th position in that number 199 car. So now see Josh there. Now he's also working on Robbie Richards. Will be the next one on his list to try to get around. So right now it looks like Josh may have saved his tires a little bit on this initial run and is really starting to kind of come into form here. I'll say that's definitely something you can do at this track with these cars, is just kind of figure out when and where to run it. So I'll say if Roy's watching, though, he's got his 2 Roy Wheeler Designs cars fighting here for 6th position. So he's going to be hoping these guys keep it clean, race hard but race clean with each other, and say hopefully be able to be there at the end to see if they can be fighting for the win here. Oh, it's close to entering one, but looks like Josh is going to grab that spot. So now move Josh up into 6th. And saying he's not too far behind that 44 of Dwight Plesh. So say Dwight hasn't been able to get back around that 81 of Todd Merkel. And saying Todd's still also trying to see if he can keep that number 17 of Chad Wilkes honest as well. Right now that is that battle for that 3rd, 4th, and 5th positions here as they go. But Kenny Kolakowski in that number 14 car, he's just kind of slowly but surely creeping in on that 48 of James Ledford. As we have, we're at 22 of 100, so we got 79 to go. Again, not quite a quarter distance yet. So again, this is going to be a pretty long race here. Saying they've done a good job keeping it clean and green so far. So hopefully no commentator's curse or jinx on that one. But you see these drivers pushing off of 2, able to keep it off the wall. But right now, Kenny's still doing everything he can to keep that 48 right in his sights, and that 48 is going to have a mirror full of that 14 car here as they enter turn number 3. I mean, you can hear the tires just screaming for mercy as they fly through these turns. I mean, it looks like they're going fairly slow comparatively, but I say there is a big speed difference between in the mid turn. Let's say right now it looks like about 150 miles an hour is the slowest speed there in turns 1 and 2. But I mean, these things get up to almost 200 miles an hour down the straightaways here. So I'm watching that 14 car here. I'm gonna watch his speed as he enters turn number 3. And yeah, just right around 190 there. And I'm saying turn 1's gonna be a little faster because you got that longer straightaway. However, though, he's got a good run here coming out of 4. We'll see if he's able to make something happen here. Fight for the lead between that 14 Kenny Kolakowski and the 48 of James Ledford. And it's going to be side by side at the line. Give that lap to the 14 car. So it looks like Kenny Kolakowski going to at least get that lap led. Not sure. I say he may have led some laps already earlier. But he's going to grab that one. It looks like he's going to try to complete this pass in 1 and 2. We'll see if he's able to finish the job here as they go through turn 2. But I think that 48 James Ledford's going to have some momentum on him. But right now, put Kenny back into the lead in that number 14 car. Still got a pretty good battle here going on just behind, though. You see them all together here. So he's that 81 of Todd Merkel just able to get around that 72 of Eric Schaus. But you see right behind him, though, say again, still a lot of battling going on. See that 53, he's worked his way back up a little bit. Now he's right behind that 12 and the 199. This is the battle for the 6th position. Oh, contact between the two of them. That's not what Roy Wheeler was hoping to see. They keep it straight, though. Great driving by the two of them. Really good hands. So we stay green here. But yeah, it's just a little bit of slight contact between the two of them through the tri-oval. But they're able to stay off each other and keep it pointed in the right direction. They're going to keep after it here. So again, Josh Sicherman, Robbie Richards there. Again, this is the battle for 6th. So that's going to cost him a little bit of position there, time I should say, behind that 44 Dwight Plesh, as he's now trying to get around that 72 of Eric Schaus, and then also trying to, as you see Eric though right behind that 81 of Todd Merkel. Say that 44 and the 81 here is the battle for position. 72 Eric Schaus still showing just 1 lap down here, as we've been caution free so far this race. You can see pretty much from Todd Merkel on back, they're all here pretty well grouped together. Maybe about a second between all of them. So you see that 53 Quabi Brooks trying to take a look to the inside of the 12 of Robbie Richards, entering turn number 3. A little bit of a shallow entry for that 53. We'll see if he's able to make it stick. So that's going to definitely be a little bit of a difficult entry there. So you kind of want to arc those probably a little bit more. But it looks like Robbie's going to hold him off there. Say that he was able to use that momentum and hang on to that spot. However, that up front again, though, that 14 Kenny Kolakowski has not been able to shake that 48 though of James Ledford. Again, there's a reason why that 48 car is our points leader entering the race. He's been really strong all season long. So right now, again, these guys have snuck away. They're about a 3-second gap over that third place of Chad Wilkes. I was saying the next question, of course, is going to be when we're going to see some pit stops. Shouldn't be too far away, I have a feeling. Again, these guys run slightly reduced fuel capacity, so we'll see if there's some strategy there. If these drivers are going to try to maybe 3 stop it or maybe 2 stop it if they can get to about lap 33, 34. If they can do that, I think that'll be definitely the plan. Otherwise, they would have probably already made a pit stop here. So I would say maybe in about 5 or so laps we might see these guys start ducking off into the pits here. A little further back, so we got to make sure we keep an eye on some of our other drivers. Mike Morrison still hanging on into that 10th spot. Is a bit of about 4 seconds back from that group in front of him. However, you see right there, he's also got Michael Spell right there with him. Looks like a little bit of right side damage to that number 3 car. So shouldn't be hurting him too bad, but definitely had some contact with the wall. And then a little further back as well, you see also some right side damage, it looks like, for John Brill. John showing about 4 or 5 seconds off of that group in front. So these guys just a little bit off the pack, but I say still definitely within about, still less than half lap down, so a lot can happen here. But here comes that battle for the lead again, though. James Ledford, got tight off of 2. He's still trying to chase down, though, that 14 of Kenny Kolakowski. These are our leaders again, just about 2 to 3 tenths of a second gap between the two of them, while still holding about a 3-second lead over that group behind, starting with that 17 of Chad Wilkes. And try to keep an eye on lap times here as well, see what these drivers are able to do. So we'll hop on board here and we'll go through a lap or two with that 48 of James Ledford. We can just listen in and see, kind of get an idea of what he's doing here. See, they're pretty much running similar lines right now. So you can hear those tires just screaming for life, because then these things are pretty much just rolling bricks with really big engines in them. But I say these guys still doing a really good job. However, we got a good battle here for third. Todd Merkel in that number 81 car. He's right on the back bumper of that 17 of Chad Wilkes. And then right behind them as well, the 44 Dwight Plush. He's kind of joined this little battle as well. Just a little bit off right now, but say he'll definitely be in contention here as these laps go on. But right now, though, Todd Merkel trying to see if we can figure out a way to get around that 17 of Chad Wilkes. Looks like we have our first taker in the pits. That's going to be the 12 of Robbie Richards. Might be a little soon to be able to make it on the 2-stop strategy here. So, as I said, here comes John Brill as well in that number 90. So we'll keep an eye on those guys, see how they cycle through. I was saying we'll also keep an eye on the leaders here, which right now, again, showing just about a 0.2 of a second gap between the two of them. Let's jump over to them just in case they make some pit stops here. We'll keep an eye on that. It looks like they're going to stay out. So, yeah, sure enough, I think this is going to be the plan here. Is going to be to do that 2-stop race here, try to get around to that lap 33, 34 mark. As you see, we've just crossed the line, around the line now. Starting lap number 33, so I believe they can make it from here on 2 more stops. As I see the 199 Josh Sichterman is in the pits as well. So he's going to be kind of the first of this lead pack to kind of duck in here along with Robbie Richards in at 12. So we'll see what those new tires are able to do. for him. As we kind of keep an eye on our leaders here and see if this is going to be their time to pit or if they're going to stay out one more time. And we'll watch a little further back and see what they do. Looks like Kenny Kolakowski, he is in. It's going to bring the 14 car. You see he's definitely making sure he doesn't overshoot the pit entry here. He's going to slow it on down. Gets to the speed line there. And actually, it looks like that left front tire may be down. You can see the angle of that car. I wonder if he has something. Let's look at some of these other cars that just pitted. Todd Merkel. Now it looks like that's just the way these things are sprung on these cars. So it really looked like the left fronts were flat there as they were going down the pits. But you can see actually it just looks like that's the way these cars are, the springs and everything that they're set up right now. Hey Charles, good to see you. Hope you are doing well. Yeah, right now James Ledford doing a really good job. I say he's been fighting hard for the lead here. Looks like he's entering the pits as well. You can see he's hustling definitely a little bit more than that 14 did of Kenny Kolakowski. As he gets to the pit line, locks him down a little bit. So say that's going to put James in the pit. Oh, here comes Chad Wilkes, the huge head of steam. Jim Brooks as well. We saw those guys really try to get a pretty aggressive pit entry. It looks like Quabi Brooks joining them in the pits as well. So that's going to be all of our leaders right here in the pits, which I think will, right now it's going to put Eric Schaus back on the lead lap. So I say he's going to be kind of banking on a yellow to hope that he can get cycled through on the lead lap. But I say we're probably going to see that 72 car here in just another lap or so as well. Yeah, sure enough, here comes Eric Schaus. He's going to make his pit stop as well. This is lap number 35, so next time around we'll have 65 to go. So it looks like that here comes that 14 of Kenny Kolakowski. His goal now is going to try to get around that 48 of James Ledford. Again, he pitted a lap earlier, but it looked like the 48 definitely hustled in the pit stop a little bit more, though. So you see here comes James exiting the pits now. Here comes that 14 of Kenny Kolakowski, and I think these two are going to cycle back up front. And I think advantage is going to be to James. Looks like he's going to gain some time here through that pit stop cycle. However, though, he's still going to have a mirror full of that number 14 of Kenny Kolakowski as they go through 3 and 4. So it looks like it's going to be just a couple tenths of a second again between the two of them. As you can see, again, these guys have kind of stretched it out over that group behind them. Looks like it's about a 4-second or so lead for James. And he's actually right behind. Oh, I'm sorry, no, those are the front two leaders here. And we'll take a look on third on back there. So you see Todd Merkel, he's still leading that second group here in the third position. He's got Chad Wilkes there with him. Robbie Richards, who short pitted just a little bit. And you got, as I say that, Robbie gets into the wall there off of 2. He's going to spin it around. He's on the, yep, he's high enough. Actually, we're going to have a yellow. So we're going to see, I think this is going to be, you see there, he keeps it locked down there, make sure everybody's able to get around him cleanly. And so, yeah, so after our first pit stops there, we just had our first yellow of the evening. Unfortunately, Robbie Richards just got a little bit tight off of 2. Looks like the 76 of Jim Brooks may have popped it as well following him. Let's go and see what brought out this yellow. And then we're going to see what the strategy is going to be for some of these drivers here. So watch as they come through turn number 2 here. See Robbie there right in front. You can see he's already starting to wash up a little too high there. You see 76 Jim Brooks following along there. Yeah, sure enough, contact for the 12. Actually, looks like Jim Brooks gets in the back of Robbie Richards a little bit. You can see the nose damage to that 76 machine. Actually, looks like 53 may have got some side damage as well there. He may have caught the wall there off of 2 as well. So it seems like those cars, all those cars there just got real tight off the exit of 2. But yeah, so right now though, yeah, so okay, so that's where so that's how the caution came out. And saying again, you see though the 12 Robbie Richards, he waits until it's cleared, then starts rolling forward. So really good heads up driving by Robbie. Definitely will be able to get back into the mix of things here. So we'll see if we're going to see any pit stops here with drivers up front. Looks like not the top 2. They're going to actually top 3. Oh, a little bit of a change actually. I'm sorry. So Kenny Kolakowski, he's going to go a little off strategy. He's going to pit here. James Ledford, Todd Merkel are going to stay out. Looks like Mike Morrison's going to stay out as well in that number 66 car. However, I think the happiest car on the field here is going to be that 72 of Eric Schaus. That's going to get him back onto the lead lap, which will give us the entire field again here on the lead lap. So yeah, so say that's our first caution of the evening. We're on lap number 38. So So we've got 63 to go. I'll probably restart with just around 60 to go. So I'm watching those drivers that have made their pit stops here. Looks like Jim Brooks is going to be the first on out. We'll see if he used a fast repair or not. Yeah, that car's looking nice and clean again. So I think we see a fast repair there for that 76 of Jim Brooks. And it was a pretty short stop there. So that may have been 2 tires for that number 76 machine, or possibly fuel only. So we'll see how that does for him. Looks like everybody else had some pretty long stops. So I think those drivers all went ahead and took 4. So while we're under yellow, we'll step away for just a moment, and then we'll join the field here again on the 1 to go. Alright, as we talk about those quick yellows, and sure enough, the lights are already off of the pace car, so we're actually going to restart here on lap number 40, which is going to give us 61 to go. And no, I don't think Jimmy Spencer's in the 12. I think that is our own Robbie Richards in that number 12 machine. Let's say Robbie's definitely been wheeling it tonight, though, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Robbie back up in contention here. Let's say it's also going to be fun to see what some of these other drivers now are able to do with the field being closed up. I think one of the big drivers we're going to have to watch is that 14 of Kenny Kolakowski, going to be restarting in the 6th position. So he's going to have a little bit of ground to make up with some of those drivers that may have taken just a little bit of fuel or 2 tires. And we'll see if those couple laps of tires, if that makes a difference over those that stayed out, like James Ledford, Todd Merkel, and Mike Morrison. So yeah, we'll see how things go this time around. So we're going to wait for that pace car to peel off, which it just is about to do here. That's going to put it into the hands of James Ledford there. On the outside, you got Todd Merkel. We're going to restart here with 61 to go at Michigan. Really good start for those front two. You can see they've actually been able to kind of gap that second row there. Just a nose ahead for the moment for Todd Merkel, so we'll see how he's able to get through 1 and 2 here. So if he can keep that momentum on the top side, we might be able to see him make a move here and try to grab a lead. But looks like James Ledford is able to hold strong on the inside. You see there 3 wide, just a little bit further back there. You see that 17 of Chad Wilkes, 66 Mike Morrison, Kenny Kolakowski on the outside. They get back down to two wide though as they enter turn number 3. You see that 199 Josh Sichterman side by side there with Robbie Richards for a moment. They get singled back out as well. But actually there you see though Josh is able to get around the 14 of Kenny Kolakowski as well. So really good start for that number 199 car. He restarted 9th. Looks like he's going to jump all the way up into the 6th position there. Oh, a little bit of contact entering turn 1. Shouldn't be too bad there. So just a little bit, probably catches attention a little bit, but I think he'll be all right here as well. However, James Ledford still leading the way. You see Jim Brooks there. He's going to try to hustle this car a little bit as well. However, you see Chad Wilkes kind of does the over-under, gets back underneath that number 76, and now Chad's going to go for 2nd as well underneath the 81 of Todd Merkel. So we've talked about that 17 Chad Wilkes. When he's running these races, he has been stout, and sure enough, he's going to grab that 2nd spot. So now he's going to see if he can hunt down our race leader, that points leader and race leader, that number 48 of James Ledford. That last time around, you see Chad Wilkes' fastest lap of the race there, 41.392. So that's about 4/10 or so quicker than James there. So he's definitely starting to try to close that gap up. And again, so you see some more battles here going on just behind. Says I'm trying to fight my four-legged announcers from hopping up on my desk. Apologies for that. But yeah, here comes that 199 Josh Stickman just slides across the nose there of Michael Spell. That's gonna move Josh, I believe, up into the 5th position here. So he's really trying to take advantage of these new tires. And so yeah, so sure enough, move Josh up into 5th. And saying we're keeping an eye on some of these intervals here, see where some of our closer battles are, which I'll say right now, I think this is definitely the closest battle for position here. So you see these guys are all over the back of each other. Josh is going to try to duck into the inside, this time of the 76 of Jim Brooks. See if he can grab that 4th position here down the back. There's that number 12, Robbie Richards. Just mentioned him. He's trying to follow suit in that number 12 car. Those 2 Roy Wheeler cars trying to find their way to the front. So yeah, so move Josh now up into the 4th position. Gets around Jim Brooks there. And then, so we'll see how he's able to do here. So you gotta make sure he's not abusing those tires too much too early. But right now he's looking pretty strong here initially. But you can see all these drivers spread out, trying to find some clean air. And just some space to race on track here. As you see Robbie inside of Jim gets a little loose there. Able to keep it pointing in the right direction, but again, I'm sure caught his attention a little bit, but that gives the momentum to that 76 car. He's going to hang on to that the 5th position. So now Robbie's actually going to jump to the top here and try to use the draft and the momentum, see if he can sneak around that 76 of Jim Brooks through the top of the tri-oval. Let's say, or D-shaped oval, I guess, if you will, the front stretch, whatever you want to refer to. But right now we'll see. It looks like, I think that's going to work, though, as I think Jim's going to have to keep it pinned to the bottom. That's going to let Robbie, sure enough, get the momentum around the top. He's going to grab that spot. You see Jim, and Quabi, they're both slid. You were correct, Rachel. I was talking that whole time and I was muted. I say that's my four-legged announcer. I think was able to hop up onto my desk there and probably muted me there. Apologies for that. So hope you guys enjoyed the cars there instead of having to listen to me a little bit. But yeah, so that being said, we are halfway. So I'm gonna have to work on some kitty proofing here to help my chances out with these broadcasts, keep things a little smoother. So thank you for the heads up, Rachel. I say you really kind of helped me more than you realize, so I really appreciate everything you've all been doing here. That being said, though, we got to jump back to the front because Chad Wilkes is getting close to that number 48 of James Ledford. Say right now you got the black and white battle, if you will. Say that black Goodwrench car and the white Monster Energy car. So right now, though, that 17 Chad Wilkes starting to close that gap here as they come through the front stretch, and he's all over the back bumper of that number 48 machine. Yeah, I'll say right now that 17 still trying to find a way around, but again, it seems like James is able to just get that little bit extra that he needs when he needs it. So that 48 car is going to be tough to get around. And again, to say on pit strategy, I think we're going to see that pit window open in about 15 or so laps. I think we're going to try. Their drivers are going to probably get around that 30 to 33 laps to go mark. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. But right now they've kind of settled out just a little bit, and it's kind of settled out throughout the field as well. You see there, Todd Merkel's got a little bit of a gap now over that 12 of Robbie Richards, and that 189 of Josh Schickman. He's fallen off the back just a little bit as well. Still got a good battle here, though, right around that 8th position. You see Kenny Kolakowski right behind that car of Michael Spell. Again, sorry, losing names here. And also creeping into the picture is that 72 of Eric Schaus, able to get back on the lead lap after that caution. So it looks like he's starting to try to make his move here. May have been trying to save his tires early on and start using them up. Now we'll see. He's working the outside, though. Again, we've seen the outside work really well, get that momentum going. Kind of seems like you pin that car down on the inside, and it really works to make these passes here. So we'll see if that's the same thing that happens. And yeah, looks like Eric Schaus is going to grab that spot. So that's going to move Eric up into 9th position now. And again, he's got plenty of cars right in front of him to try to get some more positions. You see that 3 car, and then not too far away is that 53, and then the 76 is in there as well. So I'll say there's a handful of cars here, all within a couple seconds or so of Eric, as long as he's able to keep these tires underneath him. So again, yeah, doing everything he needs to do right now. Looks like Todd's starting to get a bit of a fight again from James Ledford, from Robbie Richards, I should say, against that battle for the 3rd position. But actually back up front, though, Chad Wilkes has started to close that gap one more time on the back of that 48 of James Ledford. So we'll see if Chad's able to make something happen this time around. So we saw last time he got to him, but he just couldn't find a way to get around that 48. And again, you can see very different entries there. James entered a lot more shallow, and he's going to kind of wash up, it looks like, there off of 4 a little bit. But again, though, whatever he's doing, it's been working well. But this time, though, Chad Wilkes definitely has a better exit. He's going to get right to the back bumper of that 48 as they go through the front stretch here, entering turn number 1. These guys still haven't figured out a way to. Chad hasn't figured out a way to get around that 48. He's trying everything he can right now, but James is just holding a really steady line. Again, it seems like he has just enough pace at the moment to kind of hold off these attacks right now of that 17 car. Again, looking a little further back, seeing how intervals are going. Looks like Michael Spell and the 53 Quabi Brooks, they just switched positions there, moved Michael up into 7th. And you see there right behind them, that 72 of Eric Schaus. He's starting to creep back into that picture as well. We saw him get around Kenny Kolakowski. Hasn't been able to shake Kenny yet, but again, he's still got a few spots here right in front of him for position. Within a second or so, he's got about 3 spots that he can get. You go to 2 seconds, and he can get all the way up right to around where Todd Merkel is. So Definitely a lot of opportunities for the 72 here. And I was saying this is also going to make that pit stop extremely critical, but I'm going to jump back up to our front because that 17 car is all over that back bumper of the 48, trying to find a way around. Now you see he's going to jump to the top side. I think he's going to try to see if he can get to the outside quarter panel and keep that 48 kind of pinned to the inside like we've talked about, and I think he's going to get it done here. So you see the 48 James Slipher, he's stuck to the bottom here, so we'll see how they drag race down the backstretch. And sure enough, that 17 is just his outside here. We'll see how they enter turn number 3. Looks like that 48 James Ledford sends it in deep. We'll see if he can make it stick out of 4. Oh, again, over under here for Chad Wilkes. He's going to jump to the bottom, see if he can grab the lead here. I think he's going to lead this lap. It was close, but I think you can give it to Chad Wilkes there by probably thousandths of a second. And now Chad's going to send it pretty deep there, entering turn number 1. See if he clears the 48, but we'll see if the 48 is going to return the favor and try to do another over-under on him. Looks like Chad's going to hold the spot, so move that 17 Chad Wilkes to the lead. However, though, you see though that 48 James Ledford's still right on that back bumper here. These guys putting on a really good show here for the lead. First part of the race, it was that 48 and the 14 fighting hard for the lead. Now you've got the 17 and the 48 doing the same. You see that 48 starting to get a little squirrely, it looks like now. Again, they don't have too far to go before they can make some pit stops. They can go about, say, if they can go at least 10 more laps or even a little less, they can make it to the end on this next stop. So we'll see if there's any strategy calls on there. Say, obviously, they had that first green flag run. They'll know what their tires were like after the run, so they can make some adjustments there if they need to. So I'm curious to see if anybody does any 2-tire stop strategy. I'm skeptical, but you never know. So I think we have some position changes further up here. Yeah, here comes that. You got the 12, the 199, and the 81 here. That's a fight here for a third. So right now you've got Robbie Richards there holding the third position for the moment, but here comes that 199 of Josh Schichterman. He's going to try to grab the third position, and then Todd Merkel is going to try to take advantage of wherever this momentum goes between the two of these drivers here. Again, both close there, entering turn number 1. They got to be careful not to get too close. Again, that team sponsor, Roy Wheeler, is probably getting nervous if he's watching these two here fighting for that third spot. But right now, we'll see. I think we're going to see that momentum again for, Robbie actually touches the wall off of 2. So I think that's going to help that 189 Josh Schichterman. He's going to get a good run down the back. We'll see if he's able to make that, send it. Oh, he sends it deep, though. Barely clears the 12 car. Wow, these two are fighting hard right now for that top 3 position here. Oh, Robbie all over the back bumper of Josh. He jumps back to the bottom here, so he's going to try to cross him over. So let's say side by side at the line there. Again, don't know who had the position at the line, but these guys are not giving each other an inch right now. Fighting hard, but still keeping it clean here. So again, now we'll see if that momentum is able to prevail on the top side. You see Josh up top, Robbie on the bottom. And yeah, sure enough, momentum on the top side. Advantage goes to Josh here. He's going to hang on to that third spot. And now the 12 of Robbie Richards has his hands full with that 81 of Todd Merkel. And this is for the 4th position now. Say up front, that 48 car still all over the back of the 17 of Chad Wilkes. Say, but we have a really good battle here, so I don't really want to go anywhere else at the moment. I'll definitely jump if I see anything happening as things progress. But you see, though, that 81 there and the 12 here, side by side, almost door to door there, just as they entered turn number 1. But again, I think we're going to see that momentum on the top side work advantage to that 81. Actually, you see, looks like Josh may have got really loose there off of 2. He's going to lose a bunch of momentum here as he enters turn number 3, and that's going to open the door for Roy Wheeler. Oh, as he gets tight there on entry, it's going to send Robbie all the way up to the top there. 3 wide actually for third here, so they get through it. Right now, I'm not sure who has the advantage. Oh, is there close? If I was one of these guys, I would roll out of it. Looks like Josh does so. I'll say good heads up by him there. So you can make 3-way happen, but these cars get kind of wobbly, and you can see now Robbie's trying to stay right on that quarter panel of the 81 here of Todd Merkel. Doesn't want to let him clear. Gets tight off 2, but hangs on to it, and that's bringing these other drivers in the mix now as well. You see Josh there. Jim Brooks is right there in the mix. Oh, close contact between them. They're on the backstretch. So I think these cars are becoming a handful right now as this run is progressing. You see Eric Schaus now up into that 7th position. You can see he can see 3rd place right now if he can play his cards right. And this might be, again, we got pit window here opening in just a few laps. This might be the time to play a strategy once that pit window opens for you. Maybe you pit a lap before you may normally do it, just to try to get that clean in and out lap and try to kind of get out of this traffic and make some time up in front of you. Oh, again, Robbie's super tight off 2, keeps it off the wall though. Kind of that pushing loose. Here comes Joe. I thought Jim was going to take a look under the 81, then he looked like he got loose. These guys are having a whale of a fight right now. This is a really good battle here for this 3rd position. And so you got 3rd through 8th, I believe, all right together here. I'm saying if I'm in any of these guys' positions, I'm not feeling very comfortable right now because this is really good but hard racing. Say up front, Chad Wilkes still just holding on to the lead over James Ledford. James not going anywhere, keeping him extremely honest right now. And you see 72 Eric Schaus at the moment grabbed the spot from Josh Sichterman, but Josh is going to have that run again on the outside like we've talked about. And it looks like Jim's going to sneak to the outside of Todd Merkel here off of 2. And so we'll see. Right now, though, Robbie Richards able to give himself a little bit of breathing space. Definitely not enough to feel comfortable about yet. But again, I think we're going to see some pit stops here very shortly. And as I say, if I'm one of these leaders in this pack here, I want to pit, I think, a lot before everybody else does to try to take advantage of it. But right now, they're all staying out still. It says we have 34 to go at the line. So next time around, we'll be at 33 again. If it went green the whole way, if they split it exactly, it'd be that 33, 66, 99. Obviously, we did have that yellow right after the pit stop cycle. So if they go a couple more laps, that would probably kind of divide the run in half. But again, there's concern if there's a yellow that comes out at the wrong time. So they might want to pit a... Oh, you see Jim Brooks sends it deep there into 3. Kind of chops the nose a little bit of that 72 of Eric Schaus. Gets right to the back bumper of Todd Merkel. So he's now trying to figure out where he needs to go. Now he's going to follow Robbie Richards up top, see if he can make that momentum work. It looks like that 14 Kenny Kolakowski, he's going to pit. He was right behind that battle there, maybe about a second or so out of it. So we'll see where he cycles through once this is all said and done, should we get these green flag stops done. Up front, Chad Wilkes stretched his lead just a little bit right now over that 48 of James Ledford. It's about a 0.3 of a second lead for Chad. But again, still all right together here. And then right here you can see again all these guys battling extremely tight together here. So I'm watching some of these other drivers to see if there's any pit stops. Oh. I'm showing I'm offline. I'm going to double check, see if that's accurate or not. So bear with me for just a moment. We'll see if this is actually having troubles or not. All right, I think we're still good here. I just say, got to mention James Ledford, our second place driver, is in the pits. I say, Rachel, if you can let me know if things are still working for you. I think we're back. I'm not sure what happened there. I went to go look and everything looked correct for me. So yeah, just let me know, please. So say, hopefully everything's showing correctly. But yeah, so right now our second place driver, James Ledford, is in the pits, as is the 53 of Quabi Brooks. We mentioned Kenny Kolakowski pitted that lap previous as well. So we'll see if looks like the 17 of Chad Wilkes. He is hitting the pits as well. That's our race leader. And here comes that 81 of Todd Merkel. He's trying to get down into the pit road. So I believe that's going to give the race lead right now to Robbie Richards in that number 12 machine. As you can see there, driver exiting the pits was actually that 48 of James Ledford. So that's going to put him one lap down. So again, he's going to hope this thing cycles through for these other leaders to make their pit stops. But right now, though, Robbie Richards in that 12, he is showing as our race leader. He's got a little bit of a gap right now over that 76 of Jim Brooks. And then I'd say right behind them, you got Eric Schaus in that mix. Josh Sichterman right there, Michael Spell as well. So those are our top 5. Again, all these drivers yet to make pit stops. So it looks like Got a couple of them heading in here now. But looks like the 76 and the 199 going to stay out this time around as well. But here comes that 12, the 72, and the 3 car. So right now, now that's going to show our race leader as that 76 of Jim Brooks. And then we've got Josh Sichterman in the second position. These two still need to make a pit stop. We got 29 to go, so they can definitely make it to the end at this point. You see that 17 Chad Wilkes here. He is exiting the pits from his pit stop right now. And he is showing right now at the very tail end of the lead lap. So he wants to make sure he stays in front of that 76 car. So that's going to be the next thing to see is once that's all cycles through, we're going to watch pit stop times and see, maybe get an idea of who did what here. Here comes the 76 and the 199. They're going to jump into the pits. Oh, Josh is too hot there. Does a really good job not to run over the 76 of Jim Brooks there. I'm sure Jim saw that in the mirror and was getting nervous, but good heads up there for Josh. Unfortunately, it's probably going to give him a pit stop penalty. Okay, thank you, Rachel. So yeah, I wasn't sure what happened there. I think maybe a hiccup on the streaming front there. But glad to hear we're back. So those drivers are in the pits right now. And I believe after that pit stop cycle, it looks like the lead's going to go back to that 17 of Chad Wilkes. And looking at pit stop times, yeah, well, actually, it looks like Chad's crew got it done there. It's a 20.2 second stop, which doesn't sound great. But you see some of these guys behind him, though, they had 21.8, 21.7 second pit stop. So that 17 car got it done on the pit road here. And so now he's going to be enjoying, looks like, we'll wait for every single cycle through, but looks like about a 3 to 3.5 second pit stop. So a huge advantage there for that 17 of Chad Wilkes. So now he's going to be kind of, I think, here on cruise control, just trying to manage his tires in that gap. 48 James Ledford still going to be in that second position. And it looks like the 76 of Jim Brooks there got a really good pit stop as well. He's going to hold on solidly into third right now. And so he's got that fight behind him with, you see that 14 car, Kenny Kolakowski. He's in that mix right there in that fight with the 81 of Todd Merkel, apologies. And you still got Michael Spell right in there as well. And then just a little further back is that 72 of Eric Schaus, and saying he's got the 12 of Robbie Richards right behind him. So as you can say, a little bit of some gaps between some of these drivers, but as a whole, though, they're all pretty much all right together again. Oh, big slide off of 2 for that 12 of Robbie Richards. So let's go through the field here real quick now that we've had all of our pit stop cycle around. So up front, our race leader right now showing as that 17 of Chad Wilkes. As we cross the line, we have 26 to go. So just at 3/4 distance. But again, these guys can all make it to the end now after those last stops. In second place, our points leader entering the week is that 48 of James Ledford. He's been towards the front here most of the race. Started second, currently second. And third is that 76 of Jim Brooks, able to kind of clear the chaos here with that pit stop cycle on the 76 car. Saying that's critical for him. Oh, as he gets tight off of 2, catches the wall just a little bit. So it's going to cost him a little bit of time to those behind him. So that could kind of get him right back into the mix with these guys. Say definitely not what he was looking for there. And so you can see they've pretty much right now closed that gap right away. So here's Todd Merkel there in fourth. He's going to be closing the gap, as we mentioned, on that 76 of Jim Brooks with that little bit of a mistake. But then he's got his hands full right behind him with Kenny Kolakowski in 5th. And then you got Michael Spell in 6th right there as well. Michael started 11th and is up to 6th, so good job for him this evening. Of course, got to mention that 72 car of Eric Schaus. Eric started started in the pits there. So he's right now hanging on to this fight as well. You see he's just a little bit behind some of those guys there, about a 1.5 seconds off of Michael Spell. But again, he pitted a little bit later, so those tires might come in as this run progresses. And then behind him is the 12 of Robbie Richards, pitted that same lap as Eric. Saying unfortunately, you see behind him, Josh Sichterman, he is a lap down, sped there on the pit entry. You could kind of see it there. He sent it in there pretty deep, unfortunately. And behind them a little further back is Dwight Plush. Dwight showing in the 9th position. And then rounding out our top 10 is the 90 of John Brill. And then right now, last car on the lead lap is that 66 of Mike Morrison. Mike's showing about, I'd say about five or so seconds ahead of our race leader right now. So Mike's going to do what he can here to hold on to that lead lap right now. We have 2 cars a lap down at the moment after those pit stop cycles. That 53 here of Quabi Brooks, I say he started 7th, currently running 12th. I think probably got a pit stop penalty as well, so you can see he's fallen a lap because of that. And as we saw on that pit entry as well, that 199 of Josh Sichterman, so you can see he's not too far away from that 53 car, so that's going to be critical for him. He's going to want to try to chase down that 53 and try to be that first car 1 lap down. But right now this field is pretty spread out, so we'll have to kind of wait and see how things go. But right now, again, that 17 Chad Wilkes enjoying about a 3-second lead over James Ledford. And then James has got about a 5-second gap over 3rd place Jim Brooks in that number 76 car. However, I think we're going to see business pick up, though, for this 3rd position. As you can see, right now Todd is in that 4th position. You see 14 car Kenny Kolakowski right behind him. But you see they're not too far off the back of that 76 of Jim Brooks. They've got the draft. They can definitely see him. They can use that draft to their advantage, and they've got enough cars here to do something about it as well. As you can see, here comes that 72 of Eric Schaus kind of joining that train as well. The last time around, Eric was indeed the fastest car on track by about 2 to 3 tenths of a second compared to some of those cars around him. So again, we talked about some of these drivers pitting a little earlier than the others, so those tires might start coming in for these guys that pitted just those couple laps later. Alright, so we are on lap number 80, so next time around we will have 20 to go here. So again, watching the intervals, it looks like it's still holding pretty steady on those top 2, just about that 3-second mark. Kind of a little bit of an ebb and flow each lap. That last time around they were only about 0.03 of a second difference in lap times. So right now the whole field here is actually running pretty steady on the lap times right now. So I'm trying to see who's got the advantage on whom at the moment. Last time around, Kenny Kolakowski in that 14 was the quickest car on track, and you can see why. He's starting to chase down that 81 of Todd Merkel. Again, this would be the fight for 4th, and he is all over the back bumper of that number 81 car as they go through the front stretch here. The thing is, though, this is what the 76 of Jim Brooks, he wants to see these 2 fight, because if they start battling for this 4th position, that might let him kind of sneak away just that little bit, and saying every tenth or so is going to definitely play a big role here with these cars as this race unfolds. You can see it looks like Eric Schaus has been able to get around Robbie Richards, so move Eric up into the 7th position. Actually, no, I'm sorry, Eric was already ahead of Robbie. I apologize. He got around the 53 car, who was a lap down. But you can see, though, he's starting to really close the gap, though, on these cars in front of him. So right now showing in 7th, but you can see, though, he can definitely get all the way up to 3rd right now. He's only got about 2 seconds between himself and that 3rd place of Jim Brooks. So definitely not out of the cards for that number 72 to get a podium finish here. So he's going to have his work cut out for him to work around these guys. But as I say that, the 14 and Kenny Kolakowski way up top there in 1 and 2. That's definitely going to help his cause a lot right here, as he's going to look to see if he can get to that inside, and he is. So it looks like he's going to get 1 right away there. So let's move Eric now up into 6th. So the next one on his list is going to be Michael Spelder. That is just right in front of him. So you're trying to watch some lap times and see how everything's going around. 17 of Chad Wilkes is coming up on some traffic. That is Mike Morrison at 66. So we'll see if Mike's going to just kind of give him some room and let him go, or if he's going to try to fight to stay on the lead lap, because that could definitely play into the outcome of this race if that allows James Ledford to close the gap, because usually you'll see lappers will try to fight the leader a little harder than they will the 2nd place car, because you obviously want to ideally be on the tail in the lead lap instead of being the first car 1 down. But it looks like Mike's just going to go ahead and move over, let that 17 go on by. Doesn't want to mess up his race. So again, really good sportsmanship you saw there from that 66 of Mike Morrison. Right now showing in the 11th position, but right now I'll say is still the first car 1 lap down should we get a yellow between now and the end of the race, because the next car that the 17 is going to catch is John Brillo, who's about a full backstretch in front of him. Alright, things are picking up here for that 3rd, 4th, and 5th position. Or sorry, 4th, 5th, and 6th position. You see Eric Schaus has got right to Michael Spell. Michael Spell is closing a gap on Todd Merkel as well. Looks like Eric's going to dive it off into the inside, entering turn 3. He's going to do a slide job there. He's going to make Earnhardt Jr. proud. Sends it deep there, able to complete the pass, though. Michael's going to go for the crossover, though. But I think right now we'll see if Eric's able to hold on to that draft. I was going to say, see if he can keep the draft to Todd Merkel, but Todd actually goes to the bottom. But again, I think we're going to see that outside momentum kind of play advantage, though, to that top side. And again, though, Eric's going to send it a little bit deep there, entering 3. So I think as long as he keeps it clean here on exit, I think he'll be able to hold on to that 5th position. And sure enough, he does, so move Eric up into 5th. Now next on his list is going to be that other Ford Thunderbird, that number 81 of Todd Merkel. You see he's wasting no time. He was actually the fastest car on track that last time around by about 0.3 of a second on these cars around him. So that 72 is definitely on the move right here. So I'd say that's going to be the next thing. He wants to try to waste no time to get around that 81 car. Because we talk about that fighting, it's definitely let the 76 Jim Brooks sneak away just a little bit here. So it looks like he's got about a second and a half gap between himself and Todd Merkel right now. So again, Eric's going to need all the time he can if he wants to try to get that top 3 finish this evening. And so he's going to take a look to the inside. You see it kind of washes up a little bit here, so I think that's going to slow the momentum of that 72 car down a little bit. Looks like he's able to get the power back down pretty well on exit, though, so he's going to get the nose underneath. Nope, not quite, actually. Todd Merkel going to hang on to that 4th position right now. Yeah, sure enough, though, those lap times definitely dropped a little bit with that fight for that spot. So I'm also watching the gap up front. You can see it hasn't dropped a ton, but it's gone from about 3 seconds to about 2.5. So we'll see if James Ledford is able to make a charge as this run progresses. Oh, as you see there, good exit for the 72 of Eric Schaus. He's going to try to get underneath the 81. We'll see if he sends it in deep again, does that slide job here, entering 3. And sure enough, he sends it on in there. I think Todd may have rolled out of it a little bit as well. So yeah, move Eric now up into the 4th position. So now he's going to try to set his sights on that number 76 machine of Jim Brooks, which at the line looks like the gap is showing at just about a second and a half. So still 13 to go here, so a lot of time to still make something happen. Again, that gap up front is about that 2.5 seconds right now. You see James Ledford starting to work on that 66 of Mike Morrison as well. Oh, and actually Robbie Richards, the 12 car, is in the pits here. It's not a scheduled stop for him. Let's see if he's got some heavy right side damage, so it looks like he may have popped the wall pretty hard there. So unfortunately, Robbie's going to have to drop it down into the pits here. Get that car serviced. We'll probably see, I'm guessing, some tires on a fast repair for sure for him. Because the frustration here, you see he overshoots his pit stall just a little bit there. He's going to get it into his marks now. So we'll keep an eye and see if that car does get that repair done. See that? Oh, actually no, it looks like just tires here. It doesn't look like the fast repairs going there. So we'll keep an eye on that. But I say, however, it looks like James Ledford has gotten around the 66 of Mike Morrison. It actually looks like Robbie may have retired from the event, unfortunately. But yeah, that gap though is starting to shrink just a little bit. Again, still just about 2.5 seconds. So we'll see. And actually, I was talking about Eric being able to get around that 81 of Todd Merkel. Todd said, not so fast. I'm still wanting to try to get this 4th position, see if I can grab that 3rd position as well. So this fight, though, for that 4th position is not over. And so I think that, again, we talked about the 76 of Jim Brooks. He's probably loving this battle right now. But actually, as I say that, even with their battle here, Todd was able to gain a couple tenths on that 76 car of Jim Brooks that last time around. So right now, checking a look at the gap. Looks like it's just at about 1 second here. So definitely within sights and definitely within reaching distance, because we're going to be at 10 to go this next time around. So again, we're talking about that 17 and Chad Wilkes still leading the way. He's got still looks like about a 2.5 second lead. So we'll show the distance here at the line. You can see that 48 car in the distance. So there's Chad Wilkes crossing the line now. And then you can see there goes the 48 as well. So that's what the gap is at the moment. You can see there, saying it doesn't look too far, but at the same time, that 48, that probably looks like an eternity for him. And again, just that 17 car just, I think, had a good pit stop, was able to get in about a second. But then also that entry and exit out of the pits, I think that did everything he needed it to do there. We're going to keep an eye on this battle here for 4th, because right now this is definitely the best battle on track. So you got Todd Merkel there, you got Eric Schaus with him, and I say not too far behind is Michael Spell as well. So he's ready to kind of capitalize should these two bobble at all. Again, this right now is the battle for fourth, but while they're battling, they're starting to slowly but surely close that gap on that 76 of Jim Brooks. So this could also become the battle for third here, as we have 9 to go at Michigan. And right now, let's say you see Eric again on the inside. We'll see if he's able to make something happen. They are tight. They're entering turn number 1. You see Todd here is trying to make that top side work, and he's going to keep the momentum again. But again, all the while they're doing this, they're still closing slowly on that 76 of Jim Brooks. So even with this battle these two have going on, which has been a really good battle here for position, they're still also able to close that gap just a little bit on that 76 car. Yeah, you can see you can see that 76 is visibly closer here. You see Eric Schaus just to the inside of Todd Merkel. I say, well, he'll have enough of a nose underneath. We'll see if he runs it deep there entering turn number 1 or not. He definitely does send it in deep. We'll see if he can clear him. He does. But now I think we're going to see Todd here try to do that over-under. But it looks like Eric made it stick there. Really good turn for that 72 car. So move now Eric back up into that 4th position. And so again, now next on his list is going to be try to chase that 76 of Jim Brooks. So again, he is right there now. I'll say there's no gap between the two of them. He's in that fight here. Again, though, they've been getting time on that 76 while they've been also battling for that position. So we'll see if Jim's able to kind of find another little bit of speed there in the 76 machine. Because otherwise, I think that those two cars are going to definitely try to eat him up here as this race starts to unfold here with this 7 to go. Yeah, you're right. You're right about that, Rachel. Chad's done a really good job to have that gap that he's done. Him and James have been really strong all night, but I think Chad just they talk about in the Cup Series the in and out laps. I think Chad was just able to nail both of those laps there and just maximize the pit entry and the pit exit, and that's everything he needed to do there. But right now, though, we have 6 to go, and we have a good battle here. This is again for that 3rd position here. So you know how much all these drivers want to talk to me. It's the highlight of their week, I'm sure. Sarcasm, very, very intentional there. But of course, all these drivers, of course, want to get the best positions they can. But you see there, Jim Brooks goes to the bottom. It looks like it's going to just that's going to definitely let 72 Eric Schaus there grab the 3rd position. So we'll see now if Jim's just kind of cruising at the moment or if he's going to try to do something. But right now, it looks like I think he just doesn't have the pace that these two cars have. So now it's going to be Todd Merkel's got to try to clear that 76 as quick as he can, because he's going to want to go back after this 72 car and have another good fight for that 3rd position between the two of them. And saying again, right now, this is definitely by far the best battle on track. These 3 drivers here all right together. You see Todd trying to clear the 76. I think Jim's going to just be able to hold him, and so you can see the momentum on that top side, and that's bringing Michael Spell right into the mix as well here. So now you've got 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th all within about a second or so of each other. So right now, if I'm Eric, you just got to try to hit your marks, keep it clean here. And then if you're Todd Merkel, you want to try to get to I think you need to get to the outside of that 76 of Jim Brooks. We've seen you can get to the inside, but it is tough to make those passes happen on the inside. So I think if he can get his nose to that outside quarter panel, though, I think that's about where you might be able to see it happen. I think we also have a good battle here for that lucky dog position. You see Josh Sichterman in that 189, and sure enough, there's a 53 right behind him. So should there be a late race caution, those two are definitely going to be battling it out for that for that first car 1 lap down. So they're in a pretty good battle here as well. However, we're going to stick with this fight here for the 4th position. You see Todd Merkel, he's got the inside line. We'll see if he's able to do anything with it. But again, you see Jim's on that outside. We'll see if I think this time Todd's able to really get the power down there. He's going to clear him. Michael Spell going to try to do the same here as they come out of 4. But yeah, definitely move Todd Merkel up into that 4th position. And now the battle's going to be for 5th between Jim Brooks and Michael Spell. And again, now the next thing is going to be to see if Todd's able to work that 81 car to try to chase back down this 72. So you can see up front, we have 3 to go. Say up front, the gap has stayed pretty much the same. It's about that 2.7 seconds. So again, we talk about Chad. I think he's just kind of in cruise control here. Make sure he doesn't make any mistakes. But right now, we're watching Todd Merkel trying to see if he can get back up to that 72 of Eric Schaus, as the leaders just took 2 to go. Oh, you see Michael Spell just cleared himself off the nose of that 76 car, but 76 is going to try to do the over-under here. But again, I think that momentum on the top side is going to prove very beneficial for Michael Spell. So we'll watch him as they enter turn 1. Jim sends it deep, though. He's going to do that slide job, but here comes Michael Spell. He's going to do the over-under. See if he can clear him on the exit. If Jim can stay to his quarter panel, which he cannot quite do, so that's going to give Michael that top 5 for the moment. As we're going to jump to our race leaders as we're coming to the white flag here. I say we haven't been talking too much about Chad these last few laps, but say he's been, once he got that lead, he's been on it. And so we have the white flag out for Chad Wilkes in that number 17 machine. He's got about that 2.5 second lead over James Ledford. Saying he's able to get that gap through those pit stops. He did a really good entry exit and a really good pit stop as well, putting his car right where it needed to be. So as he comes through the backstretch for the final time, we'll see him come through 3 and 4, and all he has to do is just kind of keep it clean, and he's going to be able to pick up, I believe this is going to be his 4th win in the season. So again, when he's been in these races, he has been strong. This is definitely going to help his points championship as well. And so here he comes. Chad Wilkes going to win here at Michigan. Right behind him is that 48 of James Ledford, and we got the fight for the 3rd position. It looks like at the line, Eric Schaus going to hang on to that 3rd position there. And then in 4th, you saw right behind him was Todd Merkel. 5th is Michael Spell. And then 6th is that 76 of Jim Brooks. Really great driving by these drivers. Only the 1 caution all race, 100 laps here at Michigan. These guys did an awesome job tonight, so hats off to everybody. Definitely congrats to our top 3 for the runs tonight. That was definitely an exciting one. So we'll follow along the 17 car. We'll probably see some donuts from him. And then, of course, we'll pull up our top 3 and try to get a word with them here. Alright, so let's go ahead and try to hunt down and say now I have to also cycle through my overlay here, so it's not responding to some of the stuff I want to do. So while we're doing that, we'll get things loaded up here, and then we'll get some interviews in just a moment. Alright, so we're going to start things off with our 3rd place finisher here. That is, of course, the 72 of Eric Schaus. And had something happen during the initial start of the race. We'll have to check with him and see what happened there, why he had to start from the pits, because that kind of put him on the back foot. Again, we talked about how well he was able to rebound there. Shows him as starting 8th, kind of actually started probably about 14th and a half, if you will, with that starting in the pits there. But able to kind of obviously stayed in contention, got that lucky dog at the only lucky dog, of course, with just that 1 yellow, which is obviously huge for you. But then once you got back on the lead lap, able to work your way slowly but surely up back all the way to that 3rd position. But yeah, I guess first, what happened to kind of maybe you had to start from the pits, and then just take us through your race and how you had to work through the field here.
Yeah, this probably was one of my worst starts to one of my best finishes, so I feel like this was a pretty good race for me. I started out, I did qualifying, ran that, and then as we were going out to get in line, I realized my force feedback had stopped working on my steering wheel, so I had to pull off to the side, reset that, which then had me starting from the pits. So starting from the pits, I was immediately a lap down. From there, I just tried to figure out how to run the course. This was also I'd only done about 3 practice laps before jumping in here. So I had no idea how to run the course. So I figured I'll just run this first pit stop, or at least up until a caution or something along those lines, and just trying to figure out the tires, trying to figure out the pace, that kind of thing. I realized what I had was pretty good, because after the leaders had kind of caught up to me and passed me, from there they couldn't get past, or they couldn't keep going for me. I was able to hold on with them. So I got lucky with that caution, got my lap back, and from there I just used that same pace again, and that seemed to have the better long run than a lot of other guys out there.
Yeah, you're definitely right. You definitely had some really good long run. As we saw some of these drivers kind of take off right away, but then you guys were able to kind of creep back in there, and of course had to make those green flag pit stops as well. So that was able to kind of make sure no mistakes and everything like that. We saw a few drivers get bit from that. But yeah, I mean, as a whole, though, again, a really solid race. Like you said, having to start from pretty much a full lap down to then starting, of course, at the back of the field and having to work your way kind of slowly but surely to get to that top 3 position. But saying it wasn't easy. I say you and Todd put on a really good fight there those last few laps, where I was like, okay, Eric's back, got around the 81, got around the 81. He's up into 3rd, and I look back, it's like, no, actually Todd got it back. So it's like you two are definitely mixing up pretty well at the end.
Yeah, I felt like the key, especially when anytime I was passing anybody, my whole goal was to just be consistent. I noticed that if you got kind of behind somebody or a little bit under them, they tend to overcook the corner a little bit and go a little bit deep. So if you just keep consistent lap to lap, eventually you'll just get around them.
Yeah, I was saying, I'd say at least from where I was sitting, I mean, it looked like you were doing some slide jobs to make Dale Jr. proud there. You sent it in deep there, clear the guy, slide up a little bit, but you're able to kind of make it stick and get the exit. I saw a few times they try to cross over under you. I'd say, was that something was from your seat? Was that kind of what you're doing too, or was it just maybe looked a little different from the cockpit versus from the stands here?
Yeah, I definitely pulled that move a couple times. I realized that if you could send it in there, get on the brakes hard enough to get your exit speed down to where you're not going to run out to the wall. If you get that timing down right, you can just sling it under there and then still have a little bit better exit speed than the person behind you as they're washing up.
Well, you definitely did. It was really exciting to watch you work your way through there at the end. So, I mean, great job tonight. Definitely hats off. That was a really good run. Say those two up front were going to be tough to contend with us. I think if you had the track position, I think you would have had some chance to make it, kind of make them earn their keep, if you will. But again, still a great recovery. So definitely want to give you a chance here for any thanks and shouts you'd like to give, though, for that top 3 tonight.
Yeah, thanks to my wife for watching. Thanks to Area 51. Thanks for you commentating these. Thanks for all the guys I raced with. It was a great race. I look forward to the next one.
Yeah, so I got to thank her too, because one of my 4-legged associates decided to hop on my desk and somehow was able to press my mute button. So I'm talking away, and then at some point I see Rachel chime in. It's like, "Hey, are you okay? Are you muted?" And I was like, "Uh-oh." So I looked, and sure enough, I was muted. So yeah, so she saved me from probably a lot more silence where I thought I was talking. So your supporters are helping me out a bunch too, so I gotta thank her as well. So it's awesome to see her watching you guys week in and week out. So yeah, I say keep it up, because you've been doing an awesome job, and say look forward to chatting again with you here soon.
Great, thanks.
All right, that was Eric Schaus in that number 72 Ford Thunderbird, bringing home in 3rd, having to start from the pits, missing the grid because of that force feedback issue. So a really great recovery for him. So now we got to have a chat with our points leader entering the race, James Ledford. I think he's going to probably be able to hold on to that points lead as well, but definitely had his work cut out for him this evening. Had a couple of good fights as well. Initially was fighting with that 14 and Kenny Kolakowski, and then had that good fight going with Chad Wilkes there at the end. Just unfortunately, it seemed like that pit stop, James, unfortunately, that's kind of what did you in there. Looks like he was just able to get a really good entry and exit laps. And so you guys were right, even on pace, you just didn't have that gap that you needed there at the end.
Yeah, it seemed like Chad took right sides only on that last pit stop.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have to quiz him here at the end. So I was looking at the pit stop times; they looked pretty equal. I'll say, however, though, his pit crew was actually almost about 2 seconds quicker than you. So I'd say maybe he just needs to give his pit crew a raise as well, because he had a 20.2 second stop compared to yours was a 21.8. So I'd say some of these pit crews are maybe kind of learning the ropes from these newer cars, I'll say. But it was a really good run for you, though. So it was a blast watching you. I say you had those really good battles up front. So you were up front all night as well. I say it kind of showed again why you're the points leader entering the races as well. So. I mean, take us through from your point of view. I mean, was there anything that maybe was working well for you or not working for you? So it seemed like the top line was actually better than I expected it to be tonight.
I'd been running the second line up in the turns most of the race. That seemed a little bit faster.
No, I mean, it worked out well for you. Like I said, I mean, was it just for that one pit stop where you lost that little bit of ground over Chad? I think you two would have been fighting at it for the end there for the win. But again, though, still a great run for you tonight to get that second place finish. So it's going to probably hold your points lead. I think you've gained on everybody, of course, except for Chad, who I think he's missed a race, so he'll have a little bit of work cut out for him to chase you back down still. So I think this is the midpoint in the season. So far so good. Halfway through.
Yeah, I was trying to catch Chad there at the end. I think I gained a second on him, but then it seemed like our tires equalized or something, and I couldn't gain any more.
I'll say regardless, I mean, you two were definitely, I think, the class of the field tonight. Kenny was definitely up there as well. So just unfortunately, when he lost that track position, that kind of seems like it didn't work for him. But I mean, a great run though tonight for you, James, grabbing that second place position. Definitely want to give you opportunity for any thanks and shouts you'd like to give for that run tonight.
Just to Area 51 for the league races, and you for doing the broadcast.
I'm always enjoy being a part of it. So again, great run. Say definitely what you need to do to try to keep that championship in contention there for yourself. So good run. Look forward to chatting again here with you soon.
And it was good to see your brother in the race too.
Yeah, we're taking over slowly but surely. Just wait. I got to find more relatives to start racing with us or something.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right, take care, James. Great job tonight. That's our second place finisher there, James Ledford. So we got to jump over to our race winner here, Chad Wilkes. We're going to do the same thing as last time. We're going to try to grab his crew chief as well. We talked about the family kind of taking over here. We got myself in the booth and then my dad and my brother racing. However, in that number 17 machine, you've got Chad Wilkes behind the wheel, but you got Dad Mitchell Wilkes up on the pit box trying to help him out. So we'll have to see this time. Maybe see if we can grab a word from the crew chief as well. You're getting done behind the wheel there, Chad. You were on it after that first caution flag. Was there anything? I mean, what stood out for you in this race? Because I mean, once you got in contention there, you were quick, but I was a little surprised in that first run. You weren't as far up as I thought you might be. And then, of course, that last pit stop, I mean, you nailed it there. You went for maybe a couple tenths to about 3 seconds. So, I want to get your thoughts on this one tonight.
I tried to save tires too much during the first run and let a couple guys by and was just kind of hanging out. And then when I went to go, I kind of ran the leaders down, but I let them get too far out thinking that they were going to burn theirs up more than they actually did. And they didn't really burn their tires up much. And so I was catching them, but then while catching them, I really burnt mine up. And by the time I pitted that first time, I was shot. I just let them get too far out. And then luckily when the caution came out, I knew all I had to do was get that track position. I would restart at 7th or 8th. So I just knew I had to go hard those first 2 laps or whatever. And then my plan was just to get behind James and just kind of hang out. And luckily I only had to run 2 hard laps for the rest of the race. And that was just to get around him. I knew I wanted to get around him somewhere around 60-ish. Just because we were coming up on a pit stop and I didn't know when people were going to pit. I was always going to pit 1 lap later than whenever he did. So I want to go ahead and get around him just so he'd have to pit from behind me. Got around him and nailed the pit stop. And there's a little trick to making your pit stops a little bit faster in these cars that somebody told me in the first recruiting race that we did for these cars way back last season, because every one of my pit stops was 24 seconds. And I was going in the pits first or second. I was coming out 7th every time. And somebody came over race radio and said something that everybody could have heard, but I guess it only stuck with me because I was the one having the problem with it. And ever since then, I've been doing what that guy told me, and I can't remember who it was. gets those pit stops right around 20 seconds instead of a little bit longer. So yeah, and I kind of nailed my entry and stuff and got in, and from there is just managing. I knew I wanted to keep it out to 2 seconds, so I was gonna, hang out until he got to 2 seconds, and then I was gonna keep it there. And luckily he was gaining, and then at some point I guess maybe he had some drop off or something, I guess, or used it up to gain. And because once he got to 2.5, I never really had to push. He couldn't get any closer. So yeah, I mean, this wasn't necessarily my best track or anything, but good enough, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, definitely did what you needed to do tonight, I'd say. I kind of had a feeling you were probably managing the gap once you had that gap built up. So, yeah, I mean, you definitely adjusted well after that first run to kind of figure out how much and when and how much to push and everything. So say these guys are going to have to go back on their notes here and try to figure out your pit stop secrets. So don't be surprised if you got some spies in the future with some of your races here. So I saw him jump out a second ago. I'm going to see. I don't know if your crew chief's going to want to chat or not. So I don't know if he's going to have any insight for being on your pit box tonight to see if he had any insight. Any thoughts on your end if he be up for it?
Well, I talked to him, and he said that last week he was trying to talk when you were asking him, and for whatever reason it wasn't picking up.
Well,
and he didn't really know why. So I don't know. I think he's doing Discord from his phone or something. So I don't know.
Well, let's find out. Yeah. You guys hear Mitch? Nah, unfortunately it's the same. Looks like he's still having this trouble. So, well, sounds like the driver's going to have to do some tech work for the crew chief. I say, however, he's been doing a great job. I say when he's been on the box for you. So you've been winning these races. So I was joking that that my family's kind of taken over the league with, let's say, myself in the booth. Now I've got my dad and my brother on track here. So I say you've got yourself on track, and then your dad up in the box with you tonight. So that's really cool to see. And that's what some of this stuff is really fun. And so you guys obviously you can have some friends you race with, but say when you can get family involved too, I think it just makes it that much more fun.
Yeah, for sure. I originally got him into iRacing, and then I took about 3 years off, really, and then he got me back into it when I started back here a few months ago. So yeah, no, it's fun. He loves it. He drives a whole lot more than I do, and he gets in some of these races. But yeah, these 87 cars, I don't think he likes them a whole lot, so he just jumps on with me most of the time, and while he's sitting there watching TV or actually watching your broadcast a lot too. And he's there to, if I need any math or anything done for pit strategy or anything like that, he's there to do it, so I don't have to do it in my head in the car or anything.
Nah, it goes a long way. That's awesome that he's able to be a part of it. So yeah, I think my dad's in the same boat. He's not the biggest fan of these cars, but I don't know. I find it fun. I say that I like being able to have to wrestle them a little bit compared to some of the other cars we've got right now. So and so you've obviously gotten pretty acquainted to them as well. So I think this is your third win or fourth win in I think 5 or 6 races. So you've been definitely, when you've been in these races, you've definitely been on it.
Yeah, I've won all of them that I've been in except for one, and that one I was leading with 2 laps to go and got in an accident with a lap car. That was mostly my fault. But so yeah, usually at most of the other tracks I can kind of do whatever I want to. But tonight I actually wasn't that much faster than everybody else, so just kind of had to try to learn a lot through that first stint and try to apply that for the rest of the race. And luckily, if that caution would never came out, I would have never won. But once that caution came out, I kind of knew what I had to do to make it happen, I guess.
Yeah, you did a great job tonight, I'd say. So, obviously kind of did a little bit, but definitely want to give you an opportunity, though, for thanks and shouts you'd like to give for pulling off the win tonight.
Yeah, thanks to my dad for crew chiefing, and thanks to my mom who has to sit there in the living room with him and try to watch TV while he's talking to me on Discord. And give me updates on the basketball scores. And thanks to the league, and thanks to you for doing the broadcast.
So it's again, so like you said, it's always interesting the things you have to balance between. I'd say I've got the same right now with my little 6-year-old here trying to commentate in the background here, so I'm trying to keep her in check a little bit. But yeah, so again, a great job though tonight. Enjoy it, Chad. I look forward to chatting here with you soon. And so yeah, definitely if you can see if you can work on your crew chief's microphone stuff, we can have a chat with him in future victory interviews.
All right, thank you.
All right, that's our race winner there, Chad Wilkes, in that number 17. So we got to definitely go through our race results though for this evening. All right, so here's our top 10 this evening. Chad Wilkes pulling off the win over James Ledford. You see those two definitely were pretty quick this evening compared to the rest of the field, able to sneak almost a 10-second lead there over third place Eric Schaus. Eric, though, again, doing a great job of working through the field there to get up to that third position after starting from the pits. So he had a great fight there as well with Todd Merkel for that third spot. Todd winds up fourth. Michael Spell brings it home in fifth. Jim Brooks grabs the sixth position, and you've got Kenny Kolakowski, who was fighting towards the front there early on in the race. Unfortunately, dropped back a little bit to seventh, and Dwight Plush brings it home in the eighth position. And see towards the end there, ninth place you got Quabi Brooks, Josh Sichterman. They were both fighting for that first car one lap down as they went to that 53 car, but unfortunately they just never got the caution that they were hoping for. And you see the remainder of the field here. John Brill finishes 11th, Mike Morrison 12th. Fortunately, Robbie Richards at the end had some issues that put him down to the 13th position. And then say Mark Brown did not take the grid this evening, will be credited with a 14th place finish. So yeah, so I want to thank you all for joining us here tonight with Green White Checkered TV with the Area 51 Racing League 87 Cup Series tonight at Michigan. It was 100 laps, only the one yellow under that first green flag pit stop. So again, great job by all these drivers tonight. Definitely not an easy car to drive, but they did a really good job tonight, kind of keep the car underneath them. So again, hope you all have a wonderful evening tonight. We'll catch you all again tomorrow for the Cup Series. Should hopefully be joined in the booth by my colleague Don Runkle Jr. So until tomorrow night, though, hope you all have a wonderful evening. Remember, if you can, please try to stay home, stay safe, wash your hands, and until tomorrow, have a